Dorothy, we're
Go
going with it.
for it.
All right, I want to call this meeting to order. Will everybody stand for pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
You ready? All right, registration / impeachment.
It
Anybody
is
got-
7:02.
What's that?
It is 7:02. I'm gonna make a note of the time. Just in case somebody says you started without me.
We're not letting you resign, Bill,
Yeah.
unless you put
Anything on it?
Lisa in.
I think we ought to impeach him, other than he does need to turn in a letter of resignation. We've had several threats towards everybody. And we've also had a threat today that if he showed up to the meeting, there would be fistfights. So I make a motion to impeach our mayor.
I'll second it.
What was said at the bank?
He wanted them to freeze the accounts until we got a new mayor. But of course they can't do that. That takes a judge and a whole bunch of extra paperwork. He can't just walk in and say that. And then he signed his name off of both accounts. So he has no longer access to any of the bank accounts.
But then he told you that he was just stepping aside. He wasn't gonna write a letter.
Yeah,
So I don't have an understanding why he would say that he's not the mayor and then tell you that he's stepping aside.
And then when I checked the Dropbox last night, the tractor key and the old key he had to the old lock to the outside door was attached to the tractor key as well.
Yes, but he'd have to be totally confused about whether you're still mayor or not. Because Teresa appointed him mayor, but she still had the checkbook and was still spending the money and making the decisions.
Yeah.
Because Frank couldn't remember anything from one minute to the next. But I guess officially he was mayor after she said he was. So this is how much the man knows.
So, all in favor of Donnie's motion to impeach Frank due to threats and incompetence? Dorothy seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
I have no vote on this. I'm mayor.
You do have
I
vote
do?
because you're pro term mayor.
All right,
I double checked that. Okay, so since he did not do a letter of resignation, we have to go through and send him a certified letter and then have another meeting, next week. So I can get the letter typed up before Monday, and we have to have the sheriff's department serve it because he can refuse it.
all right. What's that does that cost us anything, has it?
Yeah.
It's about
Prob-
$30,
I would say 25, yeah.
$25, $30 somewhere in there.
You gonna pay this one?
I will.
Okay.
And these threats have been going on since the new board has come on, and
Started taking action, basically.
yeah,
Because we won't do what he says. So he's gonna shoot
My
us.
biggest problem is he's supposed to be in charge of the meetings. He sets up, he's supposed to stop people from getting off track and keep us in line. He hasn't done that yet.
So, we
And
need
then,
to,
we told him about the park. People can don't have to rent it. Come in here, fill a calendar out.
Mhm.
That way we know who's got it. If nobody's on there, let him have it. He can't remember that. He tried to kick the door in for that. That and the key.
So we'll just have to have a list of reasons that he's incompetent and list of reasons why.
I
So,
would say one, running the meetings.
He doesn't know what we did in the meetings,
Yeah, can't remember what we did in the meeting.
from one day to the next.
threats.
And one of the threats was that he made was to a gentleman out east of town, and he told Bill and I both about that threat.
Yeah, he told us, the guy, we talked to the guy about the gravel cause that needs to be on there, giving away city property, the taxpayers' property, not city, but taxpayers' property, to people who don't live in town. The gravel is supposed to go on the road. He said that, the day we left that meeting, he went to his house and told him that we were gonna show up and talk to him about the gravel. And he was tired of it. He was talking about stepping down, but he would like to shoot everybody in here before he left.
I think inappropriate comments need to be
Yeah.
added to the list due
Yeah.
to the,
No,
stripper pole.
Yeah, the stripper pole.
no, why are we, playing this route?
We have to,
We
because
have
he did
to by
not
law.
give a letter of resignation, so we have to do this legally.
Are you telling me he's threatening to shoot everybody on the board and down here in the court? And we didn't get charges filed against him?
That is
Well-
correct.
Because he didn't say it to some of us directly, we have to do it this way.
It's a hearsay issue at
So we
the
just
moment.
have to,
It ain't hearsay if the sheriff goes up there and hears it from him, that he's the one that said it.
But-
And the prosecution.
so we have to go about it this way to handle.
And the
everything.
issue with the slide,
The what?
the issue with
The
the
day
slide,
the
we
slide
voted
was-
to take the slide down, and then he raised Cain with the people that did, and he was here when we did, we
Yeah.
talked about it
Yeah,
at
we
one
talked
meeting.
about it, and I told him that was my job. He told me, and we sat there, and it's in the minutes, I told him I would talk to Charlie and get it taken down, but I was gone the next day, cause we were gonna do it on Sunday, and I was like, we can't, because somebody wanted to rent the park, or have the park for
Yeah,
Mother's Day. And that's the time he knew that somebody was gonna be there, so Charlie decided to do it on Saturday, and I was out of town. I was in Keokuk. So I told him, get with Donnie, and, cause Charlie didn't wanna go down there by himself, and Donnie could go with him to take that slide down. And we did what we all voted on,
right, we talked about it at one meeting, we voted on to do it the next.
you know?
And talking about the slide, Charlie did take it out.
We can't talk about
Can't
that
talk
this
about it.
time.
Okay.
Okay, so is there anything else besides inability to run meetings, inability to remember what happens at the meetings, threats, giving away city taxpayer dollars, property, inappropriate comments, mad about things being done that the board voted on?
And that should be about it, unless you wanna bring up, I'm talking about getting stoned before you come to meetings.
Yeah, I think I can talk about that. Because my grandson said that they smoke pot, he smokes pot with him every time before they go to a meeting.
Okay.
In other words, he always comes stoned.
Well, that would fall underneath being intoxicated, wouldn't it, Bill?
I would say so.
Okay, so I will get that typed up and we will have to have a meeting next Friday after everything's taken care of. What time does everybody wanna do that? Does 7 work for everybody again?
7 works.
Yeah, that works.
Friday night.
That's the 23rd. Okay, and then, so that concludes that. The next thing, Bill?
All right, the church. I talked to the guy to come down and praise it. He said unless we tear down the inner walls to look at the moisture damage, that he would say, he would charge us $2,000 to sell it. And usually they get $1,000 on every $10,000 they sell a house for. He said, he calls it a Mennonite special. Cause Mennonites, when they buy something, the whole community comes in and fixes it. He said what he would do, he'd put it in the paper with a bottom dollar on it, take bids, and if we didn't get our minimum, cut it down and do it again. But he said it's worth 10 grand. He said it's worth more than that. Somebody wants to make a house out of it. It's just the foundation, there's a tree growing into the foundation, and the door heading out to the road here, the hard blacktop from the basement, the foundation's cracked right there above that door.
Yeah, water runs across that basement when we get a lot of rain
Yeah.
too.
But he said the furnaces are pretty new in here, both the furnaces are pretty new. And he said we should have no problem getting 10 out of it. But he said we'd be cutting our own throat if he sold it by losing 2 grand if we're trying to put money back into the community so we can keep stuff going.
Okay, so,
How much does it cost to advertise in the newspaper?
I
If we did it ourselves
I think
without
we should put
cutting
it,
the middleman
I
out.
think we should
Well,
put it
that's
in 2
Echo,
papers.
she's right
I
here.
think we should put it in the Shopper and the regular newspaper, that way, because a lot
Ask
of people,
Echo, she's right here.
a lot
What
of
it
people,
costs to put it in paper.
Depends on how big.
Yeah, it goes by words, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you're looking at, I'm saying roughly here because I don't have a price sheet in front of me, but maybe like a business card size ad wouldn't be more than $25 or $30.
Yeah, but I tried to put an ad in for the cemetery that's big enough you can see it. And I think that was what, 50 something this year?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do bigger, like a 2x4, yeah, you're probably getting close to
It's a little bigger
$50.
than that, I think.
and we have to do it for 4 weeks.
yeah, because there's certain people that don't get newspapers and they get the Shopper in the mail every week.
Right.
So you're
It'll cost
gonna,
more on the shopper.
so you're gonna reach out to 2 different groups of people and might have more of a chance to sell it.
Well, what if we do 3 and we put one in the Knox County paper, one in Scotland County
It'd
paper,
be good to put one in Knox.
and then one in the Shopper?
And they said right now that the Mennonites are looking for churches because they're running short on churches, and they just bought a church in Kirksville. He said, so we shouldn't have a hard time selling the church.
I know an auctioneer that's interested in buying it.
Okay. What's gonna be bottom that we can't go below?
I'd say right now, I'd say 10 grand's about what we got into it.
I would say start at 10 grand if it doesn't sell within a certain amount of
And
time.
then, well, it'll be closed sealed bids for those 4 weeks.
I'd
all
say if
the way-
somebody bids 9.5, take it though.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But, so we set the cap and then we have to run it for 4 weeks and then it'll be closed bids and we'll do a closed meeting, open them all then.
You gotta do that in open.
Have to do it in open, okay. So.
That's
but-
an open meeting thing. But so usually what I've seen other people do is they'll set that it has to be at City Hall at like a precise time and day, and then the next meeting after that, I've seen the boards have where they do an opening of the bids, they read them all out, and, in public, and then they go through and decide which is the
That way
best
they got a
one.
chance to be here and everything.
So, what is 4 weeks? Because it won't be until this next week.
So,
We did it.
1, 2,
Or so it'd be
13th.
You can also put it on Swap Shop, can't you?
13.
Yeah, we can share
Yeah,
the ad
Friday
on
the 13th.
all those places. In June,
Yep.
so, and that would be a meeting too.
Be a
That is our
great day to
next
start.
regular meeting.
Regular meeting.
So,
Friday the 13th.
Yep.
so do we wanna,
Yeah.
they have to have sealed bids in before,
So by like Thursday or
by like Thursday,
Wednesday?
and then,
Let's make
Our
it for
meeting's
90
on
days,
Friday.
give it a chance to spread around and stuff.
I would say so.
so by Thursday the 12th, do we wanna say like 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock?
I'd say 5.
And we'll take out of town bids, out of state bids,
Anyone that wants to bid on it.
Yep, anybody
Yeah.
else has been on it.
because some of those will be by, not in person.
Yeah.
maybe by email or any number of ways.
Anything else on that?
Well, in the ad, I would, like Grandma said, they could email a bid, put our email address on there, and that way they can email a
it,
bid.
then I
Make sure
can-
it's somebody
And I just print
serious.
it
Do you
off
have
and
an
seal
email
it into
address?
the,
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
an envelope.
Delaney set one up.
And make sure it's somebody serious, but that's,
Yeah,
Are you gonna schedule a time for a walkthrough for any bidders?
Well, put the email down, so if they wanna walk through it,
email and a phone
Contact
number.
Delaney for a
Walkthroughs,
walkthrough.
well,
walkthroughs via appointment.
yeah, by appointment, they
And
schedule,
I mean, we can always also take a video and post
yeah.
online too, for those that are away, if they can't get here to do a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you guys want to include in the ad?
it has one bathroom, I think.
Yeah, it just got us one
It
bathroom
has one
downstairs.
bathroom. And it has water downstairs, a kitchen.
Yeah.
Pretty good kitchen.
And at the moment, it's got a full tank of propane too, so,
No, propane's gone.
is it?
Yeah, they took the tank.
Now, you wanna put in there too, that everything in there goes with it, except for the tables and chairs and the desk. Hoping to have that stuff out before,
But the pews go with
but
it.
the pews, the books, all that goes with it, and the one stove and the refrigerator.
Okay,
And you might wanna advertise it does have newer furnaces in it. Cause that's one of the first things they're gonna ask.
Oh, and the roof is good too,
And-
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes,
Make
it's,
sure you state that it's a propane furnace too.
yeah, Lonnie Sears put that roof on and it's been, what, 15 years maybe? It's been
I
that
think
long.
it's a little less than that.
Yeah, it hasn't been very long.
Cause they done
And it's
it,
metal roof.
they done it in the Christian church at the same time.
Yeah, he was doing community service, and that's how he used it up.
okay. I need a motion.
Motion,
Motion on
the church.
the church,
To run it in the 3 papers.
yeah, I'll bring motion to run it in the 3 papers.
Sealed bids by Thursday, June 12th.
Sealed bids by when?
June 12th.
June
at
12th at 5 PM.
5, And our cap at 10,000.
And cap $10,000.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I still think you ought to give them 90 days. 30 days is not much for people to get around and check it out.
4
4
weeks
weeks.
is the requirement.
Yep.
For selling city property, 4 weeks is the requirement.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, it just seems like giving them 90 days to get their bid in and stuff, would be a little more
Well, I guess we could,
politeness to them, because they wouldn't have to hurry around. If they
Well-
got people out of the area that they have to bring in to look at it or
The
something,
only downfall is that
Some of
farmers
it is,
market,
we're kind of
city
worried
is
about
gonna-
Yeah.
keeping the lights
Yeah.
on.
Huh?
We're kind of worried
I
about
would just
keeping
leave
the
it at
lights
that
on,
for the
too.
moment.
Yeah, you guys all voted on it,
Needs
so.
money,
All right, the next agenda, fundraising.
I know.
There,
We're gonna have
as,
to run it through
we are
again
allowed to
get
do
it.
fundraisers.
Let's see.
There's not really any stipulations that we've been told not to just run the city on fundraisers. But when we discussed the current situation we're in, they said to get us through the end of the year, that would be the best way to go about it. The community members, suggested maybe a yard sale.
Cause I said, with all the Christmas ornaments we have out here, are we gonna use the jail sale?
No,
Why don't we put it up for sale too, and that, somebody be interested for like one of their Halloween decorations?
yeah, we used to use it when we had the,
I'd say it might be a good fundraiser in its own.
Yeah, that would be the only thing, is cause it used to be at the fall festival, and
Yeah,
like you could
you
pay
could-
to get someone arrested,
you
and
could
then.
pay to get them in jail and they had to pay to get out.
Yeah. I was just thinking of more room, so if we did have anything, move everything to that other side.
Which I think we could if we got rid of all the other stuff in that other
The
one.
jail
move
used
it
to
in.
sit outside.
We could set it outside and just have it locked at all times.
Yeah. Cause we talked about people renting that or having whatever.
Do we have a way to pick it up and move it?
Oh, we can find a way.
Well,
We
they
have a
moved, they
Charlie.
did move it before, so
Yeah.
there was gotta
We
be a
can tie a
way.
rope, we got that bucket on the tractor, pick it up and just,
Cause they always put it down there in front of the store when he had a store.
Yeah, so
When-
we
for
can
fall
find a way to
festival.
move
Yeah.
it.
long chain in the tractor, that's how I put that blade inside here with our tractor.
So, and then, I mean, we can always do like a car show or a bike show or
Well, and some other
just
people,
like a cornhole tournament, something like that, just to get people involved.
there's some other people that called me this week and was asking why we're not getting the Mennonites like the fire department and do another fish fry.
We can talk with them and see if that would be something they're interested in.
One thing is, right now with our funds, after we sold the church, we'd have the funds to do something like that, because you're talking about the condiments,
I say right
the
now,
fish, the oil's what's gonna cost the most.
right now is low startup fundraising is what we need.
Yeah, you start with the rummage sale, everybody's got stuff they could sell.
Yeah.
And
And if we
and
do
then
like,
summer here,
we put up like
Dog
they did,
sales.
the guy lost his transmission the other day. Set up out here with the Christmas orders, and anybody's got anything else to donate for the city to sell during dog and gun sale, they're gonna stop.
Yeah, so that would be a good weekend. That's June 14th.
yeah,
13th.
13th
and
or
we've all
14th.
got stuff that we've, I hate to part with I have an old plywood entertainment center that I need to buy a new TV it's
My
not
wife
gonna
would
fit
be
in
happy
that.
if I get rid of a bunch of Harley
I'd be happy if you got rid of a bunch of stuff.
stuff.
So,
How'd I know that was coming?
Yeah.
so if that's one you wanna do, and I'm willing, I do sublimation cups and t-shirts and stuff. I could do a fundraiser through that with them if that's what you guys wanna do.
Yeah, we can do that. But I got a garage full of Harley parts I can throw in.
Well, and a lot of the Mennonite boys, it's drivers are looking for an area to do a truck show. I mean,
So,
See what you can find in my garage to throw in.
That's a pretty neat thing up here on Main Street.
right?
Junk cars off Main Street, cause it's asphalt
So-
up there.
so do we wanna start with our first fundraiser as the yard sale,
I
and
would.
then we could come up with other fundraiser ideas
And what's the
to
date,
approach
what's the dates you've got on that?
13th and 14th.
Okay, because I have a funeral on the 7th and 8th.
So we could start with that, and then by the next regular meeting, have
Ideas for
ideas to figure out what we wanna do from there.
Well, and like I said, I think we ought to talk to Mennonites, see if they have any ideas for fundraisers and see if they're willing to help us out. I mean, I
When I
don't-
think about stuff like that, then you gotta look for people that will come set up for like ice cream, drinks.
That's not a problem. I
That's
go
not-
to vendor shows almost every weekend. I can get us, you
All
tell
right.
me what you want, I can get it here.
But then we gotta figure out what, like if you're gonna have a car show or anything else, you gotta figure out trophies, what it's gonna cost to run,
yeah,
what classes, everything.
And I know I've done some vendor shows that were fundraisers for people in the past. Some of them do like a flat rate for like a table, some do a flat rate for a 10 by 10 space.
well, like the car
and then
show,
some do like a percentage of your sales
You know,
as what your fee is.
guy you probably run with, PT Woods, he used to do the Memphis car show.
Oh.
You know, maybe give him a jingle and see if he might have some ideas on how to,
I can get with the Widow Sons too, cause they do their car and bike night.
or
I know where they get their trophies from there in Keokuk.
what about just having a car get together and, you know, I don't know how they used to work
Like a
them, but-
cruise night or something like that.
Yeah.
Poker run.
So we can get some ideas, if all of us get a list of ideas for the regular meeting, we could get a pretty good list going, and then we could approach and see which one financially we could do right now.
Yeah,
So with your idea, you might wanna think up kind of what you're thinking, what it would cost, that way the board's kinda educated a little bit on how we're approaching it. So, if you guys wanna do the yard sale, you'll have to,
I motion to have a yard sale on June 13th and 14th, dog and gun sale weekend.
Got someone second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we need more tables for it?
With the
We
tables
have
we got
two
out there
tables
and the
from the
tables at
church.
the church, we should have enough tables.
You could list it on the radio and ask for donations, cause that's free.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that's everything for tonight, so I guess we're closing the
We
meeting.
will see you guys Monday the 23rd at 7 o'clock, or Friday the 23rd at 7 o'clock. It's been a long week, guys.
Motion,
Friday, right?
motion to
Motion.
adjourn.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, 'cause I-
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.